Or whenever anyone's ready to share their comments on any of the criteria, some suggestions, perhaps from Hua Hin would be appropriate. What you think of Tan Picha's speech? We could start with Hua Hin when you're ready.
'Hello, it's Che again. So
Hi again.
I think that she did a great job with organization, like a thesis statement. She has an introduction and then body and conclusion, like to invite everyone to visit the school. For the support, I think she has give some example, even it's quite short or just only one or two, but I think it's good for her because she's only in Matayom 3. For her tone,
Matayom 3.
Matayom 3.
Wow.
And I think that her tone is quite nice because she's happy to show the happiness that she started here, how happy she is. So I think it's good. The volume, I'm not sure, maybe there's something about the technical problem or maybe the recording, but actually I can hear her. And the body language, I think it's excellent because she used like her hand, like to point to the school to show that this is the school that she studied. And the eye contact, she has an eye contact to the audience, just like try to convince you to come to school. Overall, I think she did a great job, in my opinion. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Tan Picha, M3. It's great. Anyone else here or in Bangkok or another teacher in Hua Hin or Chiang Mai would like to share their comments on Tan Picha and her speech? Ajahn Ekachai.
She did a great job, right? She did a great job. And for our group, we gave her score criteria. The first one, organization. We think that she gave I gave her 4 because she say and give us a sequence respectively very well, right? And the support, she used her, it's like the winner. She said about a lot of the price to make sure is more concrete. 4, and the third is tone. She used the rising and falling tones so many times. We give her 4. And volume, as Ajahn at Hua Hin, she told, maybe the reason it is from the technical problem. Maybe the camera and the position that she stand, maybe it's quite far, and there's some noise, right? Give her 4 as well. And the last one, 4 again, criteria eye contact and body language. She's I think she possibly can be a professional master of ceremony. She act herself just like she's an MV at MTV award or MC in any kind of event. She can.
Yeah.
We think. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very encouraging. Thank you. All right. So we have 2 teachers here agreeing. In Chiang Mai, I think you're ready to share something, or?
Well, I think in Chiang Mai, we just want to state that our numbering or our evaluation was pretty much like everybody else. But I think when you mentioned that she was an M3 student, all of us sort of lit up in Chiang Mai because we were just amazed to think that this was the work of an M3 student, because this would be the work that we would expect from a much older student than an M3 student, somebody with more experience with English. So I think all of us in Chiang Mai agree that she did an excellent job, and especially as an M3 student.
Thank you. Yeah, everyone went, ooh! It's very amazing. Tan Pichai, I hope that, well, she's in school right now, but I hope, Ajahn, that you tell her we're all very proud of her and we're very happy about her speech. And yes, I agree. It's very organized. The support, even it's short, it's succinct, right? Gets straight to the point. It's a short speech, but she gets her point across. And Ajahn Ekachai, you mentioned how there are some concrete ideas that we can hold on to about the winners of the school. Those are some things that we want to remember when we're listening to her. And yes, there are some problems, technical problems. I think that if we were right next to her or in a classroom, we could hear her just fine. And I like your comment on how her future might be a hostess somewhere, like an MC. That's great. Yeah, she's very mature. She carries herself well. And she pointed to the school a few times and very confident. You want to go to this school and meet students like her.
Yeah, I agree that a student like her, would be a very convincing reason for all new students to join Wang Kai Gangwon School.
Thank you. All right, so we gave some commentary, some advice. And now for Learner Voice 2. We have a speech from Ajahn Cholada's student, Bongkotrat. Go Green, Bongkotrat. Okay. We will listen to this short speech, and again, the script is included in your packet. It is Bongkotrat Mek Suwan, right? Yes, Mek Suwan. And whenever Kun Pum is ready.
In English, let's explain the process of the one that leads proper using or making less toxic. Going is mean changing. She says change the production, product or lifestyle for small toxic or solve the pollution. And green is the color of nature. It's the world symbol that means life or new generation. Let's think about green life. So, product or the manufacturing of the company or country should go green on together. You too, you can go green. It will make our world better and better for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Bongkotrat. All right, so I'll give you a few minutes to evaluate her speech. Ajahn Cholada, would you like to evaluate your student or give some comments?
I cannot evaluate, but I think she do the best.
Yeah. What are some things that you liked about her speech?
It's like she speak to be like the fresh and nature of her.
The fresh
nature of
her speaking.
Yeah.
She was quite friendly.
Yep.
She's very approachable. Like when you listen to her.
To let any people do think the same as her.
She's very enthusiastic also.
Yes.
Thank you. Would anyone like to give some feedback, a comment or some advice for Bongkotrat? Okay. It doesn't have to be all the criteria. It could be anything.
Chiang Mai, we're ready.
Yes.
Okay. For this one, Chiang Mai for organization gave her 3 or 4 because at the first one she has a good introduction and conclusion, but have to give more body. And
the reasons on why.
And for support, gave her 2 or 3 because she has to give more example. For 2, gave her 5 and for 2, also eyes and body contact 5.
Okay, thank you. From what I heard, overall your main advice is to have more support, more in the body, right? She had a strong introduction by explaining what the concept going green is, because some people might not be familiar what that means. So it's a new concept, right? She's explaining it. She explained it. And then the conclusion, trying to get to the audience, you too can go green. But then maybe some more examples, concrete evidence, the logos, right, needs to be stronger. But she does have some strong ethos and pathos, right? She spoke very loudly, made eye contact. She tried to speak quite clearly, right? The pronunciation can be better, but you can still understand what she's saying overall, right? Thank you. Going green. I like the last sentence. It will make our world better and better for us, right? All right. So we are going to listen to another of Ajahn Cholada's students about hybrid cars. So it is also in your packet, and it is spoken by Piyawan Mantawit.
You can choose driver hybrid car. This kind of car with petrol and electric car for making the power to drive a car. The petrol machine is small, so it uses less petrol than usual. The electric motor will make more power and it will not let carbon monoxide outside. With this dangerous for the environment, hybrid is so smart because you have a high technology car in your life that is the most modern now and make least toxic while you drive here and there. Let's think about it.
Cute smile. All right, I'll give you a couple of minutes to evaluate her speech. All right, does anyone have any comments or suggestions? Yes.
I observed that I love them, most of them, all three of them. I observed that the last one, she read it, maybe, but even a short time, but I think they have to prepare, use a time to prepare for this, a lot of time. We are the teacher to encourage them. I love them most of all.
Thank you. Thank you for that sweet comment. Right. For this, she may have had a script in front of her, but she was still making eye contact. Right. It takes a long time for someone to know what they're saying, but that's a good idea to have it in front of you, because even the president needs paper, right? And there's some special machine, but she was doing it quite well. And there are some things here that could be better with support, right? A little bit more, or it could be a little bit cleaner, maybe changing some of the sentences and putting them somewhere else. But her tone was very convincing. She was very enthusiastic and believed in what she was saying about the hybrid car. What I did like was trying to get the audience to listen to her about how we can get a hybrid car, or we must now catch up with high technology, right? Let's think about it. So kind of ending with that strong statement. But yet there are some things here that could be improved with the organization and some grammatical things here and there. But she does have her main message out there. All right. Thank you. Okay, we're going to listen to Ajahn Cholada's last student on biodegradable. And Inya is his name. It's another short speech, so it'll be also a quicker evaluation. All right, whenever you are ready. I think the video should play soon.
You can buy packet of product biodegradable. Biodegradable means product with from plants and animals. It can be biodegradable to nature in faster way. That's called biodegradable. But if we don't use more plastic, because to get rid of plastic, we have to have 450 years to biodegrade one of them. So we should recycle this product. Today, government of many countries is supporting recycling. That means we use a useless thing, benefit in other way.
Any immediate comments? Response? Let's change the rubric a little bit. What is strong about this? What is good about this? The body language. He does have personality. He's an actor? A character. His ethos, right. It's very strong. And the recycle, the product, 450 years, right? He does, you like him because of how he is acting in front. Okay. What are some improvements that you can advise Inya? What are some things that you think he can make a stronger speech? How can this be better? Organization, can you elaborate a little bit more? I'm sorry, first. The microphone is far away.
I think he should improve his organization because he start with you can buy package of product biodegradable. So I think it's not a good introduction.
Okay, thank you. So when we do comment on a student's work about organization, for example, and say, well, your opening is not that good, maybe you can give a suggestion. How can it be better? Right? And then we can help them, we could work with them together, give them a few examples, and then ask the student, what's your example? How can you make it better? Right? Ajahn Ekachai, were you going to say something?
May I add something at the figure 450 years? It's like it's not more concrete because of the amount of the year to the material will be get rid of, something like that. It's up to the raw material. It's up to the raw material to produce the plastic. So I think that this figure should find just like a Greenpeace or some institution to support his statistic. It's gonna sound more concrete. Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. You are our fact checker in this group. You look for the facts and you question, is that right? Is that really right? And that is something that we have to teach our students or remind them that you can't just find a number that sounds right. Oh yeah, okay, that sounds right. we have to say, you have to give some evidence. Maybe Greenpeace has statistics. There are a lot of websites, a lot of credible websites and organizations we can find even online, and they will have some numbers and percentages, right? 450 might seem a little large, but maybe it's true, maybe it's larger, we don't know. Yes, looking for the facts. All right. Let us move on. Let us move on to another student, okay, Ajahn Da's class on the celebration of the Chinese New Year. This is a different kind of video, okay? And there is no script for this one, but there are in your packet, there are evaluations. With Ajahn Da's class, she adapted her own rubric. She did her own rubric, which should also be in your packet. It's 3 charts. Okay, so if you can find, well, we could just listen to it first, then look at the students' evaluations, then you can evaluate according to Ajahn Da's rubric also. So Kun Pum, whenever you are ready, we will listen to Ajahn Da's students.
Chinese New Year. It has society,
Chinese New Year starts with the new moon on the first day of the New Year's and ends on the full moon 15th day later. The fifth day of the New Year's is called the Lantern Festival, which is celebrated at night with lantern display and shooting, carrying lanterns in a parade. The Chinese calendar is based on a combination of lunar and solar movements. The lunar cycle is about 29.5 days. In order to catch up with the solar calendar, the Chinese inserts an extra month once every few years. This is the same as adding an extra day on leap years. This is why, according to the solar calendar, the Chinese New Year falls on a different date each year. New Year Eve and New Year Day are celebrated about family aspects, a time of reunions and Thanksgiving. The celebration was traditionally highlighted with a religious ceremony given in honor of given and the gods of the household and the family ancestors. The sacrifice to the ancestors, the most vital of all the rituals, related the living members with those who had passed away. Past relatives are remembered with a great respect because they were responsible for laying the foundation for the fortunes and glory of the family. The presence of the ancestor is acknowledged on New Year's Eve with a dinner arranged for them at the family banquet table. The spirits of the ancestors, together with the living, celebrate of the onset of the New Year's as one great community. The communal is called surrounding the stone or well. It symbolizes family unity and honor the past and present generations. Coming back.
There's a cast. I like that. Okay, I'll give you a minute to think about that and evaluate. You can use the rubric that's here, but there's also another rubric Ajanda provided. M5. It says M5, I think. Yes. Ajanda, Ajahn Phai, do you have comments on your students?
Let me explain about this exercise that I gave the student. Because we would like you say, Ajahn Che, we would like to see our classroom, that the student enjoy our lesson, and we just give them the topic about Chinese New Year for writing paper, individual writing, and then back to class to discuss about what should we do to persuade the people to come to our city, and then they discuss and they choose this group to do the video, and for the girl to talk about the Chinese New Year. I think that they look at the note too much. Their eye contact, lack of communication, eye contact is not good, okay? And for the video, it's very interesting. They add some good background, like the song or scenery is Chinese real situation. Is good for that. And I like for introduction, they interview their friends, but the sound is very loud in canteen, school canteen. But it's nice to create some technique to their persuasive speech. Okay, but the girls should improve their speaking to persuade the people to join the Chinese New Year.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ajahn. Does anyone else want to comment? Either on the evaluation here in your packet? Sorry. Oh, Ajahn Leo, of course.
I think maybe because the content, the speech is a bit long, she should, have taken only the important part to support the pictures that she took with her. So we could get the idea, not just, give the whole information. So leave something for the audience to feel like, oh, I'm going there to see the whole things.
Thank you. It was a little bit long. I think it's more like a description rather than a persuasion. It was more an informative speech about Chinese New Year. And it might be interesting for some people. I want to know more. But I do agree with Ajahn Chaliosi that the images in the background are the Chinese New Year, but maybe describing what's happening there and then trying to persuade the listener and the watcher, that's what's happening. This is what I can be doing while I'm there. So it maybe adding more persuasion to the description. But I also agree, yes, there was a lot of looking at because it was a long script. I would not be able to remember that either. I would need a long time to practice with that. But maybe the technique of putting the paper in front of you in really big letters, So that's something to improve with. I mean, everything takes time for improvement, and even just the pronunciation over time. We have a lot of different exercises to help our students pronounce more clearly. And also commenting on the evaluations her classmates did. I think that's a great idea because they then pay attention to each other, and then they can also improve themselves, having the strong point and the weak point. I also like the rubric that you provided because it was easier for them to use rather than all these little other charts that we have. So adapting a rubric for your students is always helpful. It's always a good idea. The strong point and the weak point. Okay, thank you.
ค่ะก็จากคลิปของนักเรียนนะคะที่เราได้ฟังและดูมาทั้งหมดนะคะก็เราก็เห็นผลงานของนักเรียนนะคะที่ต่างๆกันนะคะซึ่งส่วนใหญ่ก็ทำได้ดีทีเดียวนะคะแม้ว่าจะเป็นนักเรียนชั้นมัธยมต้นนะคะก็ทั้งที่การวิธีการพูดนะคะซึ่ง convincing นะคะโดยใช้ body language บ้างนะคะใช้ภาษาใช้คำใช้วลีที่เน้นคำบ้างนะคะซึ่งตรงนี้เนี่ยก็เห็นว่านักเรียนเนี่ยก็ทำได้ดีทีเดียวนะคะแล้วก็การพูดการจาก็ชัดเจนนะคะแม้ว่าอย่างวิดีโอเรื่องตรุษจีนนี่แบ็กกราวด์เสียงเพลงจะดังเกินไปก็ตามนะคะก็นั้นก็ปรับได้นะคะแล้วก็สปีชเนี่ยก็อย่างที่บอกอย่างที่อาจารย์เฉลียวศรีพูดนะคะก็ไม่ควรจะให้ยาวเกินไปเพราะว่าคนฟังนี่คือเราจะ lost คนฟังไปเลยนะคะคนฟังนี่จะเลิกไม่สนใจละนะคะว่าเราพูดอะไรนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นก็ต้องปรับให้ดีคือถ้าเรื่องเมื่อกี้นี้เป็นงานเขียนก็โอเคนะคะแต่เป็นงานพูดนี่คงต้องปรับให้สั้นลงนะคะก็ส่วนใหญ่นักเรียนก็ทำได้ดีทีเดียวค่ะแล้วก็อย่างที่อาจารย์เชพูดนะคะรูบริกที่อาจารย์ดารัตน์ปรับนะคะที่เอาขึ้น documentation เมื่อกี้นะคะที่สั้นๆก็เอาของอาจารย์เชกับอาจารย์มาจี้เป็นหลักนะคะแล้วก็อาจารย์ก็ปรับตามลักษณะของนักเรียนหรือว่าลักษณะของงานที่อาจารย์ให้นักเรียนนะคะไม่มีรูบริกไหนที่ perfect หมดสำหรับทุกงานทุกชิ้นนะคะเราต้องปรับให้เหมาะสมกับนักเรียนของเราค่ะ
Thank you. So for our next slide is a question that for you, and also what Ajahn Narapon was just mentioning, we have all these different rubrics and all these different evaluations for our students' activities. And again, they're not all going to be the same, and there are always going to be some criteria more important than others. So a question for you to think about and work on continuously with your classes: what kind of criteria or factors would you include for your rubric, for your class? So I'll just give you a minute. What are some, for speaking opinion, besides the ones that we have, what other ones would you include in there that you think is important for your class for speaking opinions?
ค่ะกิจกรรมนี้นะคะอาจารย์ก็บอกว่าจากรูบริกที่เราดูเมื่อกี้นะคะมีประเด็นไหนแฟกเตอร์ไหนไหมคะที่อาจารย์อยากจะเพิ่มเติมเข้าไปสำหรับนักเรียนของอาจารย์นะคะเดี๋ยวอาจจะต้องกลับไปดูสไลด์ที่เขียนที่สรุปรูบริกของอาจารย์เชนะคะค่ะ Could you please go back to the slide with the rubrics?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a chart that is in their packet, but I do explain that slide in the beginning. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
There. So these are the criteria for the rubric that I created, and Ajanda has one that she created. What are some of the topics that you would have for your rubric for speaking opinions? Ajahn, can you explain a little bit?
Preparations.
Can you explain why would you add preparation?
I think it's very important before they perform a speech. They have to prepare a lot. So we have to give them a criteria of this and give them a mark. I think it's very important.
Thank you. That's a great point, because sometimes us teachers, we focus on the product or the result too much without giving credit to the students' hard work behind it, right? Sometimes the final product can just last for 1 minute or 2 minutes or just 5 pages, but all of the research with the facts, all of the interviews with other people, what do you think about Chinese New Year? All of that preparation can take longer, weeks. So that's a really great idea, because it also gives credit to the students' work and dedication. That's a really great factor to add. Yeah. Oh, I heard Ajahn Chaliyosi say teamwork. Could you please explain?
I mean, do you mean teamwork? Because sometimes, like, if it's like a project, like the last video clip, I think they need, at least more than 1 people to do. Whereas, like, biodegradable things that can be the individual work. So it depends on the work.
Right. Depending on the project, it might be so big, there are many different parts, right? Especially for saving the environment. There's going green, hybrid cars, biodegradable, not using plastic bags, etc. So, right, the teamwork. Also, it checks their balance, because, sometimes in groups, people depend on the stronger or more diligent student, right? So everything has to be balanced. Right? That's great. All right. Oh, Ajanda.
I think another one is time management, because my student, her speech is too long, maybe about the time.
Right. Practicing the time, the actual speech that's given, sticking with that time, especially if you have a TV program, you don't want to be cut off. That doesn't look professional, right? That's happened here a few times, right? Where I was speaking too much. So yes, working with the time management. All great ideas. Thank you. So for your activity, a last activity for you, is to speak your mind a little bit more, expressing your opinion. Please write a 1-minute speech. 1-minute speech to share and speak your mind about any of these 3 topics here. Art is essential to life. You can pick that if you want. Money isn't everything. Or that topic. Or the last one, honesty is the best policy. So pick one of these. I'll give you a few minutes, about 3 minutes, to write a 1-minute speech, thinking about your own criteria. How would you evaluate yourself with this speech?
ค่ะสำหรับกิจกรรมสุดท้ายนะคะอาจารย์เชยให้อาจารย์ลองเขียน speech นะคะซึ่งจะมีความยาวประมาณ1 นาทีนะคะในหัวข้อใดก็ได้ใน3 หัวข้อนี้นะคะเกี่ยวกับ art เกี่ยวกับ money หรือว่าเกี่ยวกับ honesty ก็ได้นะคะแล้วเมื่อเขียนแล้วก็ลองคิดดูสิว่าอาจารย์จะใช้เกณฑ์อะไรในการที่จะประเมินspeech ของอาจารย์เองค่ะ
All right, who would like to take the podium? Well, you could stay in your seat, but you know, in your head, the podium. You could stand up too if you want. It helps, you know, when you're standing up, your voice is louder. It could be any site who is ready to share.
Hello.
Oh, hello. Hua Hin?
Our group should money isn't everything.
Could you make the mute? Okay.
Hello.
Louder?
Okay.
Hello.
You
Okay.
hear me?
Yes.
Our group should money isn't everything because some people are very rich but they don't happy because money cannot buy everything. Like that, some such as buy for car and happiness, and if you disease and you cannot buy for the good healthy.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So that is an impromptu speech from Hua Hin, right? For that one, maybe the introduction can be stronger, right? You can just start with, good morning. Money cannot buy everything. Right. Some people, I forgot some words, but you had some very good sentences, right? But your delivery, the way you say it must be strong, right? Yeah, but you had very good ideas, just need to deliver it stronger. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Who else would like to share their speech? Oh, we have someone here.
On behalf of group, honesty is the best policy. Honesty is a basic need to join the society. It is a credit, belongs to everyone. It reflects one mind. It has only one side, that is the virtue. And if you join the firm or any the government institution, that means if you are the key person and you're in deep heart, you are very honest. That means you will create your organization is like the kind of good governance. It's reflects another issue that is transparency. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. What do you all think of the group speech? What is strong about it? What are the strong points? Can we remember? Let's evaluate. Or you can evaluate your own speech first, and before we evaluate your speech. What is good about your speech, and then what is not so good?
Honesty is a good behavior that everyone can create by themselves. It's up to you. Which way will you going on? Good way or bad way? If you go straight to a good way, you can top up and you can follow to every situation in daily life. No, without nervous. Yeah, you can. It's just like a great confidence. You can go on. Right.
So you're saying what's strong about your speech is the message. Right. What if you were to evaluate and score your speech? Yeah, what is strong about it? If we were to evaluate his speech, what is strong about it?
Tone.
Tone. Okay. All right. The tone. Anyone else want to comment briefly? If not, what is your speech? Next speech. Next speech. Anyone? How about, so we had honesty, we had money. What about art? Did anyone talk about art? No one wanted to talk about art? In Chiang Mai, is there a speech up there somewhere floating?
Okay, Chiang Mai, we have somebody that did art, but they said they're not finished, but we're going to have them give it anyway.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Adam,
Hi.
Louder.
life can be straightforward at times.
Hold it, it's better.
Life can be straightforward at times. Go here, do this, say that. But when you frame existence in an artistic sense, life becomes much more interesting. Your life becomes a work of art in all areas. To eat is a necessity, but to eat intelligently is an art. Teaching in the classroom has certain requirements, but you can approach it in an artistic manner. How you design your lesson, how you deliver it, and how you engage your students can all be done in an artistic fashion. And that's all I got.
Oh, that's a good start. Excellent, thank you. Oh, sir, can you stay there? Hello. Oh,
Okay, he's back.
What do you think is strong about your first draft of your speech? What is good about it?
What's good about it?
Yes, what's good about it?
I don't know. It's okay for first draft.
Well, what are some things in it that you think are good?
I don't know. The lead-in's okay. I tried to give 3 examples in variety of aspects. Eating, everyone eats, so everyone can. 3 examples that everyone can relate with. You know, we're all teachers. We all eat, and I didn't really hash out the 3rd one.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So your examples, you thought you were thinking of something that is very common among all of us that we can all relate to. You're trying to get at.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. You're very modest. You're like, oh, it's
inspire
okay.
people. Sorry,
What's that?
Inspire people to kind of change the perception about how they go about their daily life, and that just doing task A, task B can be done in a way that's more meaningful to you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Thank you. Yeah, I agree. Right. So the way you were trying to do that, trying to get everyone to rethink the way they do things was quite strong. Right. But I guess the weakness would be it's not done. Which is fine. We can finish it later. Right. All right. So unfortunately, we don't have time to listen to everyone's speeches. It would be great to. But that's actually, this activity is a good lesson for us teachers to put ourselves in our students' shoes, how it could be so much more nerve-wracking for them to come up with something convincing for everyone, something that they believe in and that they want to share. So I want to go back to what Ajahn, I'm not sure your name, what you said about being prepared, right? About really putting your heart in there, putting your mind in there, and sharing a part of you, sharing a piece of you with the world, or your classroom world, that is. So thank you very much for speaking your voice today. And these are just some questions I added, some rubric type questions, whether it was convincing, you had one message that you focused on with your speech, was it simple and succinct? Did you kiss it? Keep it simple and succinct. That's what I meant by kiss it, okay? But you can kiss the paper, or you can go like this to the audience after if you want. But maybe that's not too professional if you do that all the time, okay? And what can make it better? Right? So these are things to always keep in mind when you are writing and rewriting your speech. So this is one suggestion on how you can write a quick impromptu speech. Prep. What is your point? Give your reason for your point, a specific example that supports your point, and then restate it. That's the organization right there. Main idea, reason, specific example, could be anything. A fact, statistic, it could be a personal story to connect with the audience, and then restating it again, strongly, a different way. Right? So there are many different formulas, but this one I think is quite easy to follow.
อาจารย์เชก็ให้สูตรง่ายๆในการเขียน speech นะคะ point reason example point นะคะก็คือว่าเราชูประเด็นที่เราจะเขียนซะก่อนนะคะ main idea ของเรานะคะแล้วก็ให้เหตุผลนะคะแล้วก็ยกตัวอย่างโดยตัวอย่างนั้นเนี่ยจะต้องspecific นะคะเป็นตัวอย่างเป็น example ก็ได้เป็นเรื่องที่เล่ามาหรือว่าเป็นตัวเลขก็ได้นะคะแต่ก็ต้องมีหลักฐานชัดเจนว่ามาจากที่ไหนแล้วก็กลับมา restate point อีกทีหนึ่งมาย้ำตอนจบอีกทีนะคะว่าประเด็นที่อาจารย์อยากจะ convince นั่นคืออะไรค่ะ
Thank you. So we're coming to the end of our session and time for us to think about what we can do for our classrooms, what we can do for our students with regards to giving opinions through speaking. What new ideas from this session, from your previous sessions, can you take to your classrooms? How can you unlock your students' voices? So for the last session, session 6 in 2 weeks, we are going to focus on how you are continually trying to unlock your students' voices. So it's not something the homework isn't necessarily sending in something specific, right? If you can, if you want. But I would like you to come in 2 weeks to share how you, in your classroom, are helping to unlock your students' voices. If you have a specific example to give, please feel free to bring it that day. I encourage you to share how you are unlocking your students' voices in 2 weeks. If you would like to send it to me via email, my contact information is here, and I think most of you already know it, shay.sanchez@gmail.com. You can send me an MP3 file if they have an audio, or a video file if you have a class activity where they were unlocking their voices through some sort of video or documentary or anything. You can also send me a writing piece, something that you think is a good model for everyone else to learn from. You could also post it on Facebook if you like.
ค่ะสำหรับกิจกรรมสุดท้ายนะคะอาจารย์เชก็ขอให้ท่านอาจารย์นะคะช่วยส่งงานของนักเรียนนะคะของอาจารย์แล้วก็อาจจะเป็นรวมทั้งโจทย์ที่อาจารย์ให้นักเรียนด้วยนะคะคือเป็นกิจกรรมใดก็ตามที่อาจารย์นำไปใช้นะคะอาจารย์อาจจะเคยใช้มาก่อนที่จะมาเข้าเซสชันนี้ก็ได้นะคะเกี่ยวกับการที่จะช่วยนักเรียนช่วย unlock their voices นะคะช่วยให้นักเรียนเนี่ยได้ฝึกการนำเสนอฝึกการ express their opinions นะคะอาจจะเป็นทั้งการเขียนการพูดนะคะหรือจะเป็นทักษะอะไรก็ตามที่เกี่ยวข้องนะคะค่ะที่เกี่ยวเนื่องกัน integrated ก็ได้นะคะเป็นกิจกรรมที่อาจารย์ทำอยู่แล้วก็ได้เป็นกิจกรรมที่อาจารย์ได้ไอเดียจากเซสชันของเราแล้วนำไปปรับก็ได้นะคะอยากให้อาจารย์ส่งเข้ามานะคะที่อีเมลของอาจารย์เชนะคะที่ขึ้นเมื่อสักครู่นี้เดี๋ยวจะขึ้นให้อีกนะคะค่ะสำหรับเซสชันสุดท้ายนะคะคือจะเป็นอะไรก็ได้ที่อาจารย์คิดว่าเป็นวิธีการที่อาจารย์ช่วย unlock students voices นะคะก่อนจะจบกันนะคะอาจารย์เฉลียวศรีมีอะไรที่จะสรุปนะคะเกี่ยวกับหัวข้อในวันนี้ค่ะ
อยากจะเรามาพูดถึงเรื่องถ้าเราจะนำเข้าไปในชั้นเรียนนะคะจากที่เราทำการกิจกรรมวันนี้ประเด็นที่อยากจะเรสก็คือในเรื่องของที่อาจารย์หลายท่านได้พูดคือเรื่องของการเตรียมตัวนักเรียนนะคะก็คือจะเป็น unlocking students voices ก็จริงแต่ว่ามันก็จากที่เราเห็น quality ของเด็กแล้วก็เราเห็นประเด็นว่าบางอย่างจุดอ่อนที่เด็กอาจจะมีก็คือเรื่องของการที่อาจจะหาข้อมูลได้มาซัพพอร์ตได้ไม่ชัดเจนมากนักตรงนี้อาจารย์อาจจะต้องเปิดโอกาสให้เด็กได้เตรียมตัวแล้วก็เน้นตัวนี้ให้เด็กได้เห็นวิธีการง่ายๆน่าจะเอาไครทีเรียที่เราต้องการจะให้เขาเห็นเพราะว่าอาจจะเป็นแรงจูงใจให้เขารู้สึกว่าเขาต้องทำให้ดีให้เขาชัดเจนกับตัวเกณฑ์ที่เราต้องการให้เขาเราจะประเมินเขานะคะอันนี้อยากจะฝากว่า อีกตัวหนึ่งที่อยากจะฝากก็คือหลังจากที่เมื่อเด็กได้นำเสนอแล้วถ้าเรามี peer evaluation อย่างที่ท่านอาจารย์ชลดาได้ทำก็จะเป็นอะไรที่ทำให้เด็กเขารู้สึกตื่นเต้นนะคะอาจารย์ดารัตน์ขอโทษนะจะได้รู้สึกตื่นเต้นและที่สำคัญก็คือน่าจะมีเรื่องของ self evaluation ด้วยเพื่อเด็กเขาที่อาจารย์เชพยายามจะให้ทุกท่านที่นำเสนอแล้วก็แสดงความคิดเห็นของตัวเองตรงนี้ก็จะเปิดโอกาสให้เด็กได้รู้สึกว่าตัวเองจะต้องปรับอะไรก่อนที่อาจารย์จะ react นะคะอยากจะให้อาจารย์เนี่ย react เป็นคนสุดท้ายโดยการให้กำลังใจแล้วก็บอกจุดเพิ่มเติมแต่ให้จุดอ่อนที่เขารู้สึกนี่ไม่ใช่มาจากเราแต่มาจากตัวของตัวเขาเองแล้วเขาก็จะได้รู้สึกว่าเป็นเรื่องที่ไม่น่ากลัวเพราะว่าการคอมเมนต์มันเกิดจากตัวเขาเองไม่ใช่จากผู้อื่นค่ะก็ขอให้อาจารย์มีความสุขกับการทำกิจกรรมดีๆให้เด็กนะคะ
ค่ะประเด็นของอาจารย์เฉลียวศรีที่สรุปนะคะก็คือช่วง preparation นะคะก็คืออย่างเช่นว่าเอาเกณฑ์เนี่ยให้นักเรียนดูก่อนนะคะเมื่อให้โจทย์แล้วก็เอาเกณฑ์ดูก่อนว่านี่นะเราจะประเมินงานของนักเรียนเช่นนี้นะแล้วก็อีกอย่างนึงคือว่าให้มี peer evaluation นะคะก็คือให้เพื่อนลองประเมินหลังจากนักเรียนหลังจากได้ฟังหรือได้ดูงานของนักเรียนด้วยกันแล้วก็ให้นักเรียนที่ทำงานนั้นมีประเมินตัวเองด้วยนะคะค่ะ
ขอแถมนิดนึงค่ะอีกนิดเดียวค่ะคือความจริงเราจะเห็นว่าการที่เราให้เกณฑ์เด็กไว้นี่คือสมบูรณ์แต่เราอยากจะเปิดโอกาสให้เด็กเขาได้เลือกเกณฑ์เองว่าในครั้งนี้อาจจะเป็นครั้งแรกของการทำของเขารู้สึกโอ้โห5 criteria เยอะไปหนูขอแค่3เลยแล้วก็น่าจะผ่อนปลนให้เพื่อสร้างให้เขาเกิดความรู้สึกที่จะเชื่อมั่นในตัวเองเลือกในสิ่งที่เขาคิดว่าเขาจะทำได้ดีนะคะแล้วก็ค่อยเพิ่มเกณฑ์ไปทีละน้อยค่ะ
ค่ะก็เป็นประเด็นที่ดีมากนะคะให้นักเรียนนี่กำหนดเกณฑ์ของตัวเองด้วยนะคะคือช่วยกันปรับเกณฑ์กับครูนะคะค่ะสำหรับวันนี้ก็คงจบเพียงเท่านี้นะคะสำหรับเซสชันที่5นะคะก็พบกันครั้งหน้าเซสชันที่6ก็อย่าลืมส่งงานเข้ามานะคะที่อีเมลของอาจารย์เชนะคะค่ะจนกว่าจะถึงวันนั้นค่ะขอบคุณค่ะ
Thank you ขอบคุณค่ะ